The autopilot tendencies of the Republican Party result in curiously unexplainable votes on the floor of Congress, as is demonstrated in this clip.
Passing bills to name federal buildings is the least controversial thing Congress can do. Until now. Florida's Republican senators introduced a bill to name a Tallahassee federal courthouse after Judge Joseph Woodrow Hatchett, the first African-American Florida state Supreme Court justice who then became a federal judge. And that bill passed the Senate unanimously in December, as these things usually do. The bill was on its way to pass the House unanimously in a fast-track procedure that required a two-thirds majority vote. The vote was going as expected until Georgia Republican Congressman Andrew Clyde began furiously trying to turn Republicans against the bill. Andrew Clyde called the January 6th attack on the Capitol, quote, a normal tourist visit. So that's who he And he took issue with a 1999 opinion written by Judge Hatchett when he was on the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals. The opinion overturned a local school policy in Jacksonville, Florida, that attempted to circumvent the Supreme Court's ban on school-sponsored prayer. Judge Hatchett, who died last year, was the first African-American to serve on the federal appeals court in the Deep South. After graduating from Howard University School of Law, Judge Hatchett took the Florida bar exam in 1960, and he was not allowed to book a hotel room in the Miami hotel where that bar exam was then given because it was a segregated hotel. Congressman Andrew Clyde got Republicans to change their votes while the vote was underway on the House floor. 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the vote, 125 Republicans had voted for the bill, and by the end of the vote, only 19 Republicans voted for the bill. The bill failed to meet the two-thirds threshold. The House Republican sponsor of the bill voted against the bill himself. When Congressman Vern Buchanan was asked why he voted against his own bill, he said, quote, I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Jeez, who is?
I mean, I keep thinking about, like, I remember the 2004 election when everybody was ripping on John Kerry for saying, I voted for this measure before I voted against it. And then now you have someone just blatantly doing the same thing right here. And because it's the Republicans, they go unchecked.
One guy said, we're not voting for it. And word got around like they're all a bunch of little gossips, and they all changed their vote and no one knew why. It's absolutely disgraceful.
I mean, I'll tell you, it's just another example of where that when people are trying to, on mainstream media are analyzing why the Republicans are doing so well, and they talk about, oh, it's white working class economic anxiety, or it's a pushback against wokeness. No, it's all about race. Doesn't that just make it clear? No, you can't. Oops, we were going to rename a federal building in Florida after a black judge. Can't do that. Oops. And it's disgusting.
It's like they were all voting for it and someone went, psst, he's black.
He's black, yeah.
He was black. Did you know he was black? And then boom. Right. It's ridiculous. When did doing the right thing, whether you're Republican or Democrat, when did just doing what's right take a backseat to, appearance of
I also want to know why does it take a 2/3 vote to rename a fucking building where in the House you could repeal Obamacare by a simple majority, but you need 2/3 to rename a freaking building? What?
I think the way that was explained later on in that particular clip, because this is Lawrence O'Donnell. He's somewhat of a student of Congress, but the Senate, but just the mechanism of Congress as a whole. This measure was brought up a particular way that it had to be a 2/3 vote, but I think it can be brought up again, and this time a simple majority might be able to do that. So hopefully the judge will
somebody else will have to bring it up, because God knows the guy who who sponsored it in the first place, wound up voting against it for who knows why. If he doesn't know, how are we going to know?
Simple, Tom, being the key word when it comes to Republicans. Simple.
The word critical is the devil. Anything that's critical, it's not even intellectual or questioning things. It means criticize. They don't even know what it means. Critical thinking. It's like taboo and
Correct.
thinking is the devil.